Good afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Monstrola with you here in the First Warning Weather Center. We have, as David just told me about a second before we came on air, a confirmed tornado out of a storm in southern Blanco County. Dave, where was the exact location of that?
East of 281 near the Little Blanco River.
East of 281 near the Little Blanco River. And there goes the tornado warning right now. We've been watching a little hook on this storm. It doesn't have a ton of velocity that is very concerning, but obviously a little spin up out of the storm like we've seen so many times now over the past couple of days. Dropped a tornado. We don't know much more than that, do we, Dave? If it's on the ground still, if it's popped back up?
It's confirmed over Twin Sisters, moving north at 5 miles an hour.
Okay, can we get the relative, or the velocities, not the velocities, the reflectivity rather, back on the profiler here. We'll take a look at the actual storm itself, show you where we believe the best shot for that to be. Right where you have this little hook coming down. It's kind of been there on the southern side of the storm now for about half of an hour or so. There hasn't been any relative velocities that were overly concerning, but when we see this hook signature on the radar, it always gets us going a little bit, lets us know that hey, things might be a little rotational out there. That's exactly what we saw. So just to the north of Twin Sisters right now, about 5 miles north, and it's moving north at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. So anywhere around southern and southeastern Blanco County, just to the north of Twin Sisters. Get to your safe spot right now, lowest level of your home, interior room, away from windows. Maybe take a blanket with you as well. Cover up from any debris that could possibly be flying around if a window breaks, for that matter. So you want to make sure you're away from any debris that could be coming your way. As at this point, I would imagine it's a very weak tornado, F0, F1 at best, but still something we want to certainly let you know about. If we can zoom in a little bit and get some cities on there, or some towns, or even a storm path analyzer, and let folks know where this thing is headed and when it will be around neighborhoods in southern Blanco County. Now, it will likely move just to the east of Blanco itself, right along 290 there, I believe. Or is that 7? That's 71. Right along 71 there, just to the east of Blanco.
All right, I've got you here on the circulation, Mark.
Okay, so this is the circulation right here. It's going to the northeast, and it's going to kind of hug the border of the Hays County and Blanco County line there. So just to the west of the Blanco and Hays County line, it will work its way up. Again, only at 5, maybe 10 miles per hour is this thing moving. Pretty slow right now. So Peyton, you're about 24 minutes away. What's that road right there? A little small for me to see.
That's Horton Priest Road, and then FM 473 up to the northeast.
Okay, Horton Priest Road. If that rings a bell to you, you may want to get to the interior section of your home right now, get to your safe spot. FM 473, it's headed that way, probably going to take another 20 minutes before it gets there, but still, let's start getting the wheels in motion if, in fact, you're anywhere near those two communities, or those two roadways, rather, as we have a little spin-up, a little tornado has been confirmed, or just to the northeast of Twin Sisters. You can see now there is a little bit of green and red back-to-back there. Some velocities that are starting to show up on the radar scan. They weren't overly prolific a little bit ago, but we've seen these little spin-ups in the low levels that over the past couple of days dropped quick tornadoes. They were about 50 to 100 miles wide, most of the F0s and F1s that came through, and there were numerous reports of it throughout the weekend. So Farm Road, that's 32. We just said the neighborhoods a second ago. What was that, 473 or something?
That's right, and then Buchanan Ranch Road is up here.
All right, so any of these ring a bell. You want to get to the lowest level of your house, interior room, away from the windows. Make sure that you stay as safe as possible. Some hail may be associated with it before the tornadic part of the storm comes through where the rotation is. It's on the south side, so you'll have blankets of rain coming through. It looks like before you'll break through that. And that's where on the back end, the tornadic activity could be rotating around. The wind's coming from the north on the west side of the storm, and then coming in from the south on the east side of the storm. That's where we're getting that rotation coming in. That's why you get this little hook signature right here. The wind's pushing in, and then on the rear side of the storm, things coming out and down there. Looks like all that inflow being drawn in from southern Blanco County just to the east of Twin Sisters, and that's helping fuel this storm here. Heavy downpours associated with this system. The severe thunderstorm warnings have been on it for a little while. It's dumping a lot of rain, too. Flash flooding could also be a minor concern at this point. I don't think we'll see anything like we had earlier this week and into the weekend. Just not a large enough capacity of rain to come down to get us to that level. But there could be some low-lying creeks and streams that do see some quick rises. So low water crossings could certainly be an issue as we go through the next few hours, even if the storm is gone. we still have that runoff that needs to collect, and it could shut down some roadways. So if you're going to be out, which we do not recommend right now in southern Blanco County, do not leave your home. You want to shelter in place right now. Make sure you are safe in the most interior section of your home. BTI 3.8. When we start getting up to that 4 or 5 number there, that's our tornado index. That's an algorithm the radar uses here to tell us the likelihood of a tornado being within that storm. When you start getting to that level, we start to get a little concerned, and then you get the hook echo, what we call it here on the map. And that certainly bumps up our concern even more. And that's why we have this tornado warning out now to the northeast of Twin Sisters, right in that where David is drawing that little hook there. That's where the rotation is. Winds coming into the storm, feeding into the storm, and then moving up into the sky, or updraft coming up and around, and then the back end, the downdraft on the rear flank of the storm on the west side. So rotation possible just to the northeast, excuse me, of Twin Sisters. Already reported that there was a tornado on the ground to the northeast of Twin Sisters about 5, maybe 10 minutes ago.
That's right, near Little Blanco Road.
Near Little Blanco Road.
And this is moving north at 5 miles per hour. Again, emergency management. That's those are the folks who confirmed a tornado on the ground northeast of Twin Sisters near Little Blanco Road. And Mark, this is ringing a little eerily familiar. May 27th is, of course, the anniversary of the Jarrell tornado.
Yeah, and we were saying this earlier, and this may be kicked up from a boundary that's over near Houston. Maybe the tail end of the boundary, some of the outflow from other storms gets that lift going that you need to produce the storm's initial development, and then things kind of take off from there. And we know that the rotational properties have been in the atmosphere the past couple of days, obvious with the amount of tornadic activity we've seen. So it's no large surprise that we're seeing this occurring here this afternoon.
Mark,
as we have a tornado warning.
Blanco County officials are sheltering in place. They're
Okay.
unable to speak to us, but they are sheltering as they should be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone in southern Blanco County needs to heed this warning. Northeast now of Twin Sisters. Let's, if we get one more time, some timestamps on there, give folks a good idea of where and when this storm is going to be over the next 20 to 25 minutes, as it isn't moving very, very quickly. And that's a little concerning, too. Heavy rain associated with it. We could see a quick inch or two come from this storm. So just to
adjust that there.
Okay, all right, Peyton, about 17 minutes away. So it does look like Blanco. This is going to miss you just to the east. But if you're in the Blanco area, maybe a good idea to just stay at home right now. You don't want to be heading out and about, considering there is a storm that has rotation within it and has produced a confirmed tornado not long ago just to your southeast. Now just the northeast of Twin Sisters. It's moving to the northeast into northeastern Blanco County, 16 minutes away from Peyton, just right along that Hayes and Blanco County line. It's going to kind of ride the border, it looks like, as it makes its way to the north here. And we have blankets of rain coming down on the east side of it, too, as we have all of that rain coming down, that little shield there to the north of the actual tornadic activity on the southern side of the storm. We have rainfall rates, or the Barron button have any good indication for us what's happening within the storm at all, Dave?
You know, Mark, it was indicating some hail likely with that tornado on the ground as well. This is just like what we saw on Monday. This is a rain-wrapped tornado, it looks like. It's likely wrapped in some hail, and it's heading in the direction of the north and northeast, which means folks who are in the path of this tornado may get some rain and hail first, meaning you can't see the tornado. Yeah,
that's the most dangerous part about it. You think you're just going to get a strong thunderstorm move through. You have no idea that on the very back end of the storm, there's the most dangerous part yet to go. And you can see the hook is really starting to become well-defined there. It's starting to really pool around on the backside of the storm as it brings in all of that inflow here, that warm, moist air, which we thought we tapped out of the atmosphere pretty well over the last couple of days. Well, it's already charged right back up. That Gulf and tropical flow has been so strong and so consistent over the past couple of weeks, really. We've been feeling it out there. It became sticky humid again last evening, and it's been ever since oppressively humid. All right, BTI up a little bit, 3.8 now on the storm. Hail, almost a certainty out of this thing, probably around a quarter size, but may get as high and as big as 1.5 inches. So if you're out ahead of the storm, maybe get inside as quick as you can here. Get into a solid shelter. If you live in a home that doesn't have a solid foundation on the ground, you want to get somewhere that does. But if you're already be anywhere from central Blanco County to the south on the east side of the county. You want to make sure you're sheltering in place. Don't leave the home, and get to your safe spot here this afternoon as we have a tornado warning out for your area. Already a confirmed tornado out of this storm just to the northeast of Twin Sisters. That was about 10 minutes ago. We don't have any confirmation that it's still on the ground or if any more have touched down.
Mark, if it is still on the ground, it looks like it's about 5 miles south-southeast of Blanco itself. We're hearing that from the Weather Service.
All right, do we have any velocities that are showing up on this thing just yet?
There's Blanco off on the left-hand portion of your screen, so folks can get their reference.
We got some streets. Maybe we can give folks a good idea.
Let me get that up for you.
Where the rotation may be. Still not seeing that that defining indicator, but it's obviously with lower levels here, spinning things up. Could be a quick touchdown. Down and up, but still enough to where it could damage homes and property out there and be dangerous. What is that there? Something Brandon Ranch?
Buchanan Ranch Road.
Buchanan Ranch Road.
A little farther up is Farm Road 32. These are all in the path of a confirmed tornado on the ground.
Okay, if those ring a bell, any of those streets, get inside, interior section. Grab a blanket, throw it over top of you. If the bathroom is away from a window, that is going to be your safest spot. If you don't have any windows in your bathroom, maybe toward the interior section of your house, the piping in the walls makes it the most sturdy room in a home if you don't have a basement. If you have a basement, certainly take advantage of that and get down there. FM 32, you are in the line of that as well. Rotation out of the storm happened about 10 minutes ago. No confirmation that it's still on the ground, but it could spin up at any time. What's the road here, the main road that comes from Blanco over, Dave, to the east here? That's 71, correct?
Let me check on that for you. This is, of course, 281 here coming from Blanco down to Twin Sisters itself.
All right, that's a little bit to the east of the, or rather to the west of the storm.
And you're talking about, point it out again?
Right here.
This one right here. Okay. And of course, just a reminder, folks, if you are sheltering as you should be, you can either turn up your TV loudly so you can hear us from your place of shelter, or grab your phone, grab your iPad, and on our KXAN News app, you can stream it. Yeah, absolutely. And the KXAN Weather app, too, you want to download that if you still have the wireless service as well. That will certainly be a big help. We will let you know exactly what's headed your way. Tornado warnings pop up in your neighborhood. It'll come up instantly right to your phone. That was Cimarron Trails, I believe, that went to the east there. Okay, Ludlow Lane. Perhaps, if that rings a bell to you. FM 32, it's now starting to approach your area. Let's bring that hook back up there as we have that hook that was well defined pretty much throughout the life of this storm, and we've been keeping a really close eye on it. Kind of weakened for a little bit and then strengthened back up, and now is really showing up quite distinctly there on the radar, although the pocket isn't as deep as it was maybe 10 minutes ago. Still, though, we have a tornado warning on this storm, and that goes through what time again, Dave? 12:15? Take a look at that. 12:30.
12:30 this afternoon. So another 30 minutes or so, we have to be concerned about this storm, or at least until the National Weather Service believes that the rotation is small enough that we don't have to worry about tornadic activity any longer. FM 32, it's right overhead right now. Eastern Blanco County. Stay in place. Shelter in place at this point. Do not leave. We'll let you know when it is safe to come back out. Twin Sisters, it's now to your north. You're okay. You can come back out of your safe spot right now, and let us know. If you see any damage in Twin Sisters, send it to reported@kxan.com. We'd love to see what you have out there. Let's hope that everything is pretty easy going, and if it did touch down, it was in a rural location where we don't have any homes. All right, now making its way toward the county border there of Hayes. What was that, Dave?
Let me get that one more time for you.
Yep. About 15 minutes now from Peyton, it looks like. It'll move into parts of western Hayes County over the next, we'll say, half of an hour. Near Henley, 37 minutes.
And there is a chance,
Mount Gaynor. Yeah.
Mark, it looks like that this could move into western Hayes County, but we don't have a warning there. We haven't heard of the Weather Service issuing a warning or planning to issue a warning for Hayes yet. Yeah. But certainly with the history of this thing already putting down a weak tornado, I wouldn't be surprised if that becomes the case. If the area, that hook, still stays evident on the radar, that's our visual indicator that there could be some rotation within the storm. Obviously there was. We were concerned with it. There wasn't any warning on it just yet. We were kind of just keeping an eye on it, and lo and behold, they reported a tornado touching down not long ago just to the northeast of Twin Sisters. All right, down to a 2.8 on that BTI index.
That's good news. That's dropping a little bit, which tells us that perhaps the tornadic activity is starting to settle down. But there could be certainly some enhancement up here to the north if the atmosphere is primed still after the first storm that came through and dumped 2 inches of rain in northern Hayes County, southern Travis County, still working through downtown Austin. And by the way, that severe thunderstorm has been downgraded to just a garden variety storm. Still lightning and heavy downpours associated with it, just not to the severe criteria. All right, FM 32, it looks like it's the back end starting to creep through now, but still be mindful that for the next 10 minutes or so, we still have to stay indoors. Right across FM 32. We go to the northeast from there. I can't really get a good read on the roads there. A little small there on the map there, Dave. We have that one?
Yeah,
that I'm putting it
for you. You may have heard the siren go off. That was just an update to the warning. Same thing. 12:30 is when it expires for Blanco County.
Okay. So Blanco County tornado warning until 12:30. We've had some hail reports out of this. Heavy downpours, straight line winds too, are all obviously concern, but the prime concern will be the tornado warning that has been attached to this until 12:30. FM 32. Okay, so that's FM 32. I thought that was. We hit the right-hand button.
Looks like 165.
165. Okay. So 165, or FM 165, if you are around that area on the east side of Blanco County, FM 165, that rings a bell, get to your safe spot now. Definitely a home that has a solid foundation. If you're anywhere that maybe any mobile homes out there in northern Blanco County, possibly even northwestern Hayes County. This thing could cross the county border in northwestern parts of the county as it continues to go from southwest to northeast. The eastern push of the storm really isn't that strong. It is mainly a northern driven storm right now, but still could swing over the border in the next 20 minutes. If you're anywhere in those locations, if you're in a mobile home, get to a shelter that has a firm foundation on the ground, and then get to the interior section of that area without any windows around you if possible. Maybe have a blanket and cover yourself up from any potential debris that could be flying around. Yeah.
We're just getting an update here, Mark, from the National Weather Service. Blanco County Emergency Manager says there are no confirmed reports of it still being on the ground, and that's kind of consistent with what we're seeing on the radar. You see our tornado index there at the bottom has gone down significantly just in the past 2 or 3 minutes. We don't really see that green next to red anymore, northeast of Twin Sisters, moving toward 2325 and 165. So that's an indication to us that the tornado may have lifted, although we still need folks in southeastern and eastern Blanco County, western Hayes County as well, to take your tornado precautions. As Mark was saying, this is awfully reminiscent of May 27th, back when the Jarrell tornado struck for folks up in Williamson County. This is, of course, a very sensitive day because of that. I will tell you that this does not look anything like an EF5 tornado, like the one that killed 27 people on this day back in history in Jerell. What's awfully reminiscent of this being about it, though, aside from just the date on the calendar, is that it was another outflow boundary that caused that storm. This storm this morning, we were not expecting these because there was a little outflow boundary that came through. There was not a lot of spin in the atmosphere, but sometimes when you get a big severe thunderstorm like this one moving through eastern and southeastern Blanco County and it runs into one of those outflow boundaries, which is just a big line of wind, that can create a little spin up in the atmosphere. That's what created the Jarrell tornado on this date in history, and that's why it was an unexpected storm as well, because these boundaries are hard to pick up on, and it looks like that's what created another tornado for us this morning. Again, if you're just joining us, this is southeastern Blanco County. This is western Hayes County. This is well away from the Austin Metro. We did have a report from the Blanco County Emergency Management, northeast of Twin Sisters, east of Highway 281, that there was a tornado on the ground. That was about 15 minutes ago, though, and we have seen the circulation weaken just a bit. Looks like we just got a new radar scan, Mark. Let's see if we can check out the tornado index on this. We're not really seeing much of that pronounced hook anymore that you look for when we're looking at a tornado. This storm, okay, yeah, the tornado index is still fairly low. It's much lower than it was. That doesn't mean we need to disregard this warning. Just to reiterate, folks in eastern Blanco County and western Hayes County, you should be taking shelter. You can turn up your television so you can hear us and stay up to date while you're in that interior-most room of your house on the lowest floor. If you do have underground shelter available to you, of course, that's the best option, but not a lot of folks in this part of the country really have basements or storm shelters. Again, get to that interior-most room of your house, away from walls and windows. You want to put as many walls as you can between you and the outside world in case that tornado does impact your location. Always, you can not only turn up your TV, but you can live stream us on your KXAN News or KXAN Weather app. That's a great way to just keep something handy with you while you're sheltering.
We just got word from Blanco County Emergency Management, as many as 4 tornadoes. Maybe up and down pretty quickly, but 4 of them have been confirmed from different storm spotters across the area there.
4 separate ones, or just maybe 4 touchdowns?
Yeah,
of the
maybe
same
4
one?
touchdowns of the same spin-up, but 4 times.
Okay, well, that's impressive. That means this storm is a little unstable. It means it's fluctuating. Tornado may drop down to the ground and then get sucked back up into the clouds. We still need to treat this certainly as a dangerous situation. That's evidence of it, even though we've seen that velocity kind of disappear, the spin kind of disappear just for a moment here. That's great evidence that it could very well spin up again. We're hearing that warning siren go off. I'll have Mark check on that. Again, this is southeastern Blanco County. Folks, in Blanco itself, you do not need to take your tornado precautions. You are away from this storm, and it's moving away from you.
All they did was just move the tornado polygon, the tornado warning, up as the storm continues to advance to the north. That's all.
Let's go back to Viper. We can get that latest polygon showing up here. That'll give folks a better idea. Okay, so they just shaved off the bottom part of that warning. Yeah. There's Blanco right here. There's Highway 281. And the new tornado warning itself is this red flashing box east of Blanco. Again, Dripping Springs, the Austin Metro, we are well out of this, although Austin is still under a flash flood warning for some rain that is just now wrapping up from that dying storm. This is the main storm of concern, though, obviously, out in the eastern hill country. Reds and purples, that's heavy rain and some hail likely in this storm, but our main concern has been the possibility of an in-and-out tornado popping down to the ground, maybe back up into the clouds several times, it sounds like, in southeastern Blanco County. We're in close touch with the National Weather Service, with the emergency management out there who are sheltering in place to see if we can get any further visual confirmation or any further information for you guys. But in the meantime, we do need to shelter in your home. If you're in a mobile home and can safely do so, if you're far enough away from the heavy, heavy rain that you see here, get into a sturdier shelter. We do not want you in a mobile home if there is a potential tornado, because as evidenced by the tragedy in Milam County on Monday, bad things can happen when a tornado hits a mobile home. So if you are well enough away from this storm, if it's not raining hard yet and you are to the northeast of this area on the Blanco-Hayes County line, maybe one of your neighbors has a home, get out of your mobile home and get into their sturdier structure, again in the most interior room on the lowest floor. What are we seeing here on velocity? Let's check out the latest.
Just want to throw out those little neighborhoods there.
Okay,
Chimney Valley Road, strongest part of the storm headed there. Yeah, that's the bottom one. That's Red Coral Ranch Road, a little further north. So those communities want to be in their safe spots now, and it's heading toward FM 2325.
Okay, great. So these are all roads, again, east of Blanco, east of 281, mainly along the Hayes-Blanco County line. This is a spot that's been hammered with feet of rainfall over the past 2 weeks, up to 2 feet of rain. Of course, the Blanco River is still running, and we had horrible tragedies several nights ago over the holiday weekend on the Blanco River. I know when you folks hear rain falling, it's likely an alarming situation. We are not seeing flooding in the river like what we saw over the weekend. Our main concern now is with this possible tornado.
It looks like it's weakening. Lightning count down to 1 in the last 10 minutes, so it's certainly dropping as far as its strength, but the rotation could still be there since the tornado warning is up. We don't have that defined hook any longer, though, on the bottom side of the storm. Which is good.
And what we're saying when we look at this is we don't see the green anymore. You got the red. We need some green next to it to indicate that shear and the rotation in the storm. With that said, our tornado warning is still in effect. Was that till 12:15, Mark?
12:30.
12:30. Okay, so we will stay with you folks to keep you advised until 12:30 or until that warning may be canceled a little earlier if this storm does indeed weaken. Okay, here's what we're seeing now. Tornado warning east of the town of Blanco, eastern, southeastern Blanco County. It has not yet been extended into western Hayes County. We will let you know as soon as that may happen. The potential tornado is on the south side of this. Let's pan down just a little bit if we could, and let's throw up some more streets for folks to give a better idea.
Actually, Dave,
if we could.
1 second. We have someone on the phone, Ben Oakley, Hayes County Emergency Management. Ben, we know you guys tweeted out not long ago that we had 3 or maybe even 4 possible tornadoes touch down. Could you give us the latest? What's happening there?
Yes, I'm with Blanco County. The latest is we did have the storm move into the area. We did have search and rescue crews and various law enforcement crews on the ground. We witnessed 4 various tornado touchdowns on 281 on the east side of 281, south of Little Blanco River, moving in the northeast direction.
Okay.
These 4 tornadoes have gone back up into the clouds at this time, but we're still monitoring closely.
Was it 4 separate areas, or do you think it may have been the same set of rotation that just dropped 4 different times and they came back up and down into the clouds, do you think?
It was separate. They were all close by. They were not. It was all from the same cell, I can tell you that, looking at the radar. It all came from the same storm cell. They were just dropping down on various locations. Okay,
so 4 tornadoes touching down in Blanco County. We, of course, stay safe. I know you guys were doing a shelter in place not long ago, and keep us up to date if anything comes around. Do you know of any flash flooding, by the way, before we let you go?
We do have flash flooding watch and I believe a warning now in effect. With the current saturation, this storm is dumping a lot of rain and it's a slow-moving storm, only 5 miles an hour. So we have alerted residents to be careful with waterways. They can quickly fill up.
Right. That flash flood warning will go until 3:15 later this afternoon. Keep us posted on the Blanco River if you guys have any significant rises there. We want to hear about it.
We'll let you know.
All right. Thank you very much. Ben Oakley, thank you. All right. Back to the storm here. Still tornado warning right now until 12:30 in southern Blanco County. That's going to likely, if the warning gets extended, go into Hays County too, considering the storm is now really starting to take an eastward trajectory here. It's kind of turning a little bit, especially the northern part of the storm. There's still a little, you can see a bulge in the storm on the backside. That's still a little concerning. Could still see some rotation. It's not overly dramatic, that little hook there, but we're going to keep a close eye on that one because if it becomes any more well-defined than that, there could be an area that we have to watch out for. Straight line winds, though, with the storm have been reported 50, 60 miles per hour. We've had quarter-size hail come from the skies out of this storm. Even a hail as big as an inch there, as mentioned.
And this is the National Weather Service just coming to us, agreeing with what we're seeing, Mark. Tornado threat looks to be quickly lowering with the Blanco storm. Right,
which is great news. So that's what we want to hear. Now we just want to get it to shrink even more and get those rainfall rates down. That's the last thing we need is any more flash flooding in any communities from Blanco into Hays County and through downtown Austin, really for that matter all over the place. We've had so many flash floods all the way up through Williamson County and east of I-35 too. Henley right now 28 minutes, the strongest part of the storm getting to your neighborhood, it looks like, so you have about a half of an hour. It's moving fairly slowly, but it continues to make that eastward rotation. You can see the top end of the storm kind of swinging a little bit faster than it's kind of pivoting around the southern side there. All right, so what is that, Longhorn Trail?
Yes, sir.
It looks like here could be right around the strongest part of the storm. Make sure you hit that right click before you get to the next road there. You can change the roads.
It's acting up a bit on me.
That's
Bear
okay.
with me here.
All right, we'll work with that there. Nonetheless, 4 tornadoes touched down. We just talked to Hays County Emergency Management, Blanco County Emergency Management, and they told us that 4 different tornadoes have come and touched down in southern Blanco County. We have also been told that the rotation for this at this point has calmed down, and it's certainly indicated here by our radar. But spin-ups have been happening all over the place. In fact, the other night, on Saturday night, there weren't any rotational locks at all on our radar, and we had a tornado touchdown around I-35 on Saturday evening. So it certainly could still be the case. And we have that siren going off. We'll let you know what that is. What are some of these roads here, Dave? I can't really read. They're a little small for me.
Just to the west here, we've got Chimney Valley Road, and then Chicken Dinner Road is directly in the path of that circulation.
All right, Chicken Dinner Road, Chimney Valley Road. If you're anywhere around those neighborhoods, shelter in place, lowest level of your house, most interior room right now. Rainfall rates on this?
Sorry to interrupt. Tornado warning has been canceled.
Canceled. All right, that's great news. All right, still a flash flood warning on this, though, until 3:15 this afternoon. Let's do an overview here. Since the tornado warning is canceled, we'll kind of regroup and get things together here. Austin storm, look at that. That thing completely fizzled out, didn't it? Gone. Wow, it just died right over downtown Austin. All right, so that's not a concern any longer, although the runoff could be. It has to get a little while before it all collects together and runs down into the low-lying creek streams, tributaries across the area, and we certainly could see low water crossings closed. We've had numerous reports of that already through the metro area. Next area of concern, this little batch of showers and storms that are developing from southern Gillespie County all the way into southern Hays County here. This storm on southern Hayes County and southern Blanco County, that's the one that spun up those 4 tornadoes who were around Twin Sisters in southern Blanco about a half of an hour ago now. The rotation has calmed down enough where the National Weather Service does believe we can just leave it as a severe thunderstorm warning. Tornado warning has been canceled, but you want to keep a very close eye on this. Download your KXAN weather app. If a tornado warning comes up in your neighborhood, you'll be the first to know about it right to your cell phone. Flash flood warning till 3:15. Southern Blanco and southern Hayes County. If it becomes a giant concern, obviously we will be on top of things. We just talked to Blanco County Management, their emergency services, and they say that they will certainly keep us up on the latest. Dave, anything new that we need to let folks know about before we, I guess, wrap it up for a second?
That's just about it. We do want to reiterate that the potential really confirmed tornado, at least one of them, the threat from those east of Blanco into western Hayes County has been diminished. The tornado warning has been canceled for eastern Blanco County. Everybody there, we appreciate you taking your tornado precautions and keeping yourself and your family safe. You can now come out of your tornado sheltering place. We do want to also mention that there are a few storms popping up from Johnson City out on the highway toward Fredericksburg and Enchanted Rock. I just checked the wind mode of the radar. None of those storms are rotating, so even if you're under one of these heavy storms and you hear us talking about one that produced a tornado nearby, we do not have to be concerned with tornadoes from any of the other thunderstorms right now in central Texas. That storm that dropped some rain in South Austin has prompted a flash flood warning that will continue, though, and the flash flood warning continues as well for Blanco County and Hayes County, so do be very careful near creeks and streams. We'll keep you advised right here. If anything more threatening happens here in the Weather Department, you will be the first to know. Stay with the First Warning Weather Department.